Now here's another one that we have here. And again, I said just paper, but I'm glad that we have other items in here. We're going to go with that. Postcard related, that's fine. Hand-colored prints. Let's take a look and see if they do look like they're hand-colored. Just so we're sure on it. They do look like it by color-wise. And in fact, it allows me to zoom in. Yeah, it has all the telltale signs. Now, I'm looking at this. You see the top of his shoe. Some of the dark colors went outside the lines. There's no set pattern for this. They went outside the lines here on the hand. You can see blotchiness from the watercolor used. You can see blotchiness up here on this piece. Now, I know you could print that in there, but there's a small little bit amount of runs here on the top. I would say by looks at this, without being able to touch it in person, that I'm like 90% sure this is hand colored just by the looks of it alone. Again, I really like to see them in person, but anyway, I found it in an old book. First, they looked like junk. After some research using limericks, I discovered these were hand-colored prints from the Book of Nonsense. Okay, so we're going to go look up this book here. Edward Lear. Oh. There's one copy that is rough shape on eBay for $200. Let's go look this up right now. We're going to start here because it looks like we're going to need some more data from the time frame. We're probably going to have to get rid of the date. Yeah, we'll have to get rid of the date. Let's get rid of this. Let's get rid of this. And let's get rid of this. This is what I would do. And in fact, we may get rid of Edward Lear as well because the title could be, in fact, let's just do that. Again, the fewer words you have, the better it would be. So you're going to get more results for this. 1863 edition. Again, we're going to have to judge this by what we see here. Now, I'm only going to be looking at ones from that time frame. Here's one, 8th edition illustrated. Now, again, I can't look at this one. It's too old on eBay. Can't be over 90 days. 1860s, 16th. That's not colored either. My guess is, just by what I see here, that the only ones that are watercolored would be the original edition, which is what you have. There is a reason to put stuff like that for sale, even if you may think it's not. Somebody could have the book and the images are damaged and would like to put the book back together. That is a possibility. It would cost a lot of money, so it would have to be the right edition of this. I can't look at that one either. Extremely rare antique Lear. Colored illustrations. Now this one's comparable to yours, $31. That's not a good sign. I can't look at that one to say. So let's use this key term here, and let's go back to eBay and see if we can find one from a newer time frame up here. My guess is probably not. Let's get out of postcards and go to all categories. Up. What happened to my search criteria? There we go. There we go. Didn't sell. Book of Nonsense. 109 illustrated limericks. How many limericks do you have? I would say you don't have them all. 24. Each one is an individual. So you only got a small portion of them. They are hand watercolored. They are frameable, so you can sell it as an advertising piece would be my guess. Now here's a first edition. I don't know if that would be correct to the same edition. Hand-colored illustrations, 110. So, yeah, there's no way you have all of them. Now, if it was mine on this one came out in, I think, like 1846, the book. You could have the original illustrations from 1846. That is possible. I can't see enough information to know for sure which version of this you have. Now, chances are these are impressed images into the page. It was probably done as an engraved or letterpress of some kind, so it was probably pressure pressed into the paper. If that's the case, you definitely have an earlier one on these. It's just something that you're just going to have to maybe list in the art section if it was mine. I would probably take a shot as frameable, lovely limericks, original Lear. I would put the gentleman's name in them as the title. I wouldn't mention the book on them, in my personal opinion. I wouldn't, stray away from it. Just don't put it in the title anyway. Now you could put that, in the description somewhere that it came out of one of these books. Now this could be the 1840s copy, so I would put 1840s through 60s hand watercolored original Limerick illustrations for $57.50. That's what I would do with them if they were mine. What you got going for them, and I would put frameable, lovely art, kids' room or something along that line is what I would do. So hopefully that helps you a little bit on that. That would be my best guess based on the information I see, because the book itself doesn't sell for a lot. So you don't want to list it tied to the book. Just list it as who it is and the limericks and the hand watercolored and early, and just go from there. That's what I would do on this in my personal opinion. So anyway. Okay, so the next one here, there's a few of them here in this one. So let's just zoom in here. Now, first thing I'd say is I wouldn't mess with any from the Netherlands, truthfully. There's just so few that are worth anything. Now, this is from The Hague, if you don't know. Let's just type that in here. I don't think we'll even have to look much on this one, in all honesty. Most every one of these is just literally carries little of no value. Let's just center it down a little better. And let's... So here's The Hague. So even with like dramatic scenes of like a shipwreck, they still don't sell very much here. This isn't Hague in Netherlands, that card. So as you see, there's really just not much worth even messing with at all. And this is just completed. So this is everything. So I literally wouldn't mess with the Netherlands one, in all honesty. I would just set it aside and throw it in a lot if it was mine, because you're just not going to get much out of it at all. And we can go over here to Terapeak 2 and type in Hague postcard as well, just so you can see. Now, you'll probably run into some that's sold, but, this is like Ken Hague. It's a name. It's not necessarily the same thing. Let's look at average price again. So $60. It's a set of 50 state birds again. Ken Hague, Newfoundland, Pennsylvania. Nope. Yeah, see, there's just don't list that first card. That would be my honest assumption. Just skip that one. Throw it in junk. Don't ever mess with any that are from the Netherlands. It's just too new for one. It's from 56. So now the other ones are a different story. Ethan Allen Camps. So we're just going to go straight from here. Ethan Allen Camps. And see what we get here. North Bennington, Fort Ethan Allen Camping. So right off the bat, these already give us a sign that it could be something decent. Let's go back and look at the image. And it did say hand colored. Well, that's a really nice postcard, in all honesty. Hand-colored postcard. It's a shame it's not a real photo and hand-colored, but, you can't beat them all. But that's a nice image. It's a bird's eye view. I would add that into the description for sure. And I really don't see anything quite like it. You're going to be somewhere in this range, I would say. Let's look at Terapeak real quick, too. You don't need much more information than what you see here. Now, these are military, 11th Cavalry, so those aren't going to be quite the same aspect of it, but there's nothing else on here. This is a terrible image here. This one's kind of like a distance one with more military. Yours is not a military aspect. Yours is for something that I just don't see listed in here at all, which, in my opinion, based on what I see, would make this a better item. So let's go back up here to Terapeak and do a quick Terapeak search. Again, we're not going to be able to see anything past 90 days, but this will give us an idea if there's anything else going on with this one. Now, again, soldiers. Let's go up to 20, just so I've got them all on the same page. Sports news, cavalry. Yeah, I think you've got a real nice card here in my book. I don't see anything related to camping or anything else, even from this area, mind you. So I would say you've got a pretty good card here. On this one here, I would put $57.50. I would put it higher than these. There's a lot of these out here, so there's competition on these sorts here. There's a lot of the same types, all military. So you've got something that's even scarcer than a military one from the same area. It's hand-colored. Again, it would be nicer if it was a real picture, a real photo postcard, but as it is, I would put $57.50. Again, I put it higher than I expect to get out of it. So if it doesn't go anywhere in a little bit, then you lower it down to $34.50 after, say, 4 months. That would be my take on it. Again, this is what I do with a lot of my stuff. I'll throw a price out there. Sometimes I just put it out for that $57.50 and let it run, and I just don't even go back and look at it. And then we'll just do a sale of, say, 25 or 30% later on throughout the year on a grouping of items. So $57.50 is what I do as a bin, BO, on this one. Let's go to the next one. Again, you can't put, if it sells too quickly because it's too low, you can't raise the price. You can always lower it at any given time. Again, I can afford for these to sit and to do this with every item I have. You may not have that luxury. You may just want to put it at $34.50, this last one, just to blow it out. Now, this is an interesting one here. Katsaboo. Now, let me see if I can remember that to run over here and put it out. Now, again, I've already forgotten it. Cat's-E Bew. Now, hopefully I spelled that right. We will know. Katsaboo. Yep, that is what it is. Polar bear hide. Let's see here. I would say that's all we need to put in there for this moment. Now, here's something right along the same lines of that. 2 bids. I would say you'd be able to sell that other one right off the bat by looking at what I see here. Yeah, yours looks fairly unique and interesting. Reindeer. Let's look up reindeer. Now, I know we're not going to come up with it here, so let's copy this and let's run over to Terapeak real quick. I already got a mind on what I would put on it, but let's just double check to make sure that there isn't anything. So let's get rid of this. Maybe somebody just put it up as a reindeer herder and didn't put the city. In fact, let's do postcard. Just to make sure there isn't anything else going on. Native reindeer herder, Eskimo, 1850. Now, you've got a real photo, so that's a little different than what I see here. Now, the second one here, by what I see, and let's go back here and get this off. In fact, let's do this on this one here. Let's just do herder just before I say a price here. Yeah, okay. Let's put this guy's name in here too. And just see. Yeah, I didn't think we'd see anything. Sebek, did I spell it right? Sebek, yes. Let's go back to Terapeak and do one more on Terapeak here. And just see. Yeah, I didn't think we'd find anything. It's just some obscure card. Now, on this one here, I would probably put $34.50 on it if it was mine. That's what I would put on it as a bin with the BO. And I say that because I would expect to get $15 or so for this card. That would be my honest opinion based on what I see. It's a newer card. It is a real photo. It is an interesting image. It's something you just won't find. It may sell for $34.50. You know, it's possible you could put $57.50 on this one here. It just depends on how quickly you want to sell it. I may think about it and say, let's try it at $57.50 for a couple months, and then from there drop it down to $34.50. Those would be your two options, in my opinion. $34.50, you'll probably sell it a little quicker, even if you sell it for less, just because they won't be as intimidated by the price. But this is one of those iffy ones. There's nothing to compare it to, so you can set the price. So if you want to feel like letting it set for a little while at $57.50, you may get some movement on that. $34.50, I would say you'd pretty much get it sold for $15 to say $20, probably somewhere in that range. So that would be my call on this one here. Let's look at the next one. Okay, so here is some other images here. Let's see if we can't blow these up a little bit. No, it won't let us blow these up. Okay, let's see what else is with this. Harold's Ward pictures. Now, these are probably, obviously, Australia would be my guess, or something along that line. Not postcards. This is a little hard to price in my book. It would help if you had other photos with them. Let's just put it that way to start with. These Aboriginal photos, something along this line, they have a collecting base, but you usually want more to go with it, some provenance on who took them, when they were taken, and things like that now. At least that's my take on it from what I have personally seen. Let's just slide through a few here and see. You know, like this is a postcard, so you got a shot in the same range if it was a postcard for sure. It goes down when it goes to photographs in my book, from what I've seen. Let's see if I can give you a close proximity to it. And again, I would say they are from Australia, I would say, or something in that area, Papua New Guinea, or something along that line. But again, you can just do your assumptions from eBay on something like this. As you see here, there's just a ton. Let's narrow this down because there are quite a few. We're just in real photographs now, so but we're in postcards. Let me pop back out of here. Let's go back to collectibles and just search for this. Let's search for more, and let's find the photograph. There we go. I'm going to swip back to that, so when we're done, we don't have to search around. And we'll just flip through here. Again, you're not going to... Those type of photos are, you know, World War II, so they're not going to be worth a fortune. My honest guess on something like that would be around 1850 is what I would put on them. But, yeah, and that's looking pretty much like what I would say would be the correct judge. Let's just look down a few more. Yeah, I don't see much action or play on something that new. That would be my assumption there. I would put them in, say, World War II from the area, or in all honesty, maybe even just photographs. Vintage other would be my guess on it. Let's see here. Yeah, that would honestly be my opinion. 1750 is what I would put on those. Bin, best offer. Any provenance you have, who took them, or anything like that, would definitely want to be included in there to help them move. That would be what I would do with that one. I wish I could be a little more specific on that, but I've sold enough of those types of images in the past. If it was an attractive woman or something like that in some exotic scene, it would go for more money. You see there's Native American images, and they're not even selling for that high. So it's going to be iffy on that here. Let me see here. Again, I can't censor these photos out here, unfortunately. They are allowed because of the nature of the images, so no offense intended towards anybody on any of these. Yeah, that's literally what I would put. And you can see we're down in this section here. This is probably a press photo similarly to what you have. So, yeah, that would be my best guess, $17.50. I would say you'd probably get about $8-10 for these, in all honesty, from all the ones that I have messed with in the past. Let's see here. Yeah, here's the back to this one. I can tell you right now, this one's probably not going to be worth much at all. Just because this sort of thing, Parliament, let's just start with that. And where did it say? Belfast, I think. Belfast, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I mean, you're not going to... I can tell you right off the bat, most British ones from this era aren't worth much at all. Almost every one you run into, real photo or not, I would pretty much stay away from almost every British one, unless, let's say, it's a military one, or it's signed, or it's something really outlandishly odd or unique. Like the prince or the king or queen or something like that in a real photo. They're not worth a fortune either. You know, $8-10 if you're lucky on most of those. So it would have to be like a train station with something really graphic going on. And what you want on British ones will be earlier. You see, this one only went for $1.25 with free shipping. I'll just flip over to here and we'll just do a Terapeak. In fact, let me close this one off here so we're not confusing ourselves. This is the photographic image one, so we don't need that one. Let's go over to Terapeak. Yeah, and there's none that show up here. Let's just do Belfast and postcard just so you can see. Make sure I've got everything correct down here. Belfast. See, here's Titanic. I mean, that's usually what if you see Belfast in there. The docks for White Star Line were there. This is Maine. That doesn't count. That's New York. Yeah, I mean, there's just not much. Now, here's a specific event. This is totally different. This is something unique. I can't look at it because it's more than a year ago, so that's not going to help you. Titanic under construction again. Same, it's similar. That's about all you're going to find on anything here. So I would just not list this postcard if I was you, in all honesty. I'd put it in a group somewhere, get some more British ones, and go from there. I mean, if you got a free listing, list it for $5.99 or $7.99. You'd probably have a little better luck maybe on hit postcards, depending on how many other ones are there. So just keep that in thought. Now let's see here. Let me not skip any. Here's postcard with submarines. Now the image isn't very good, unfortunately, but we can get the gist on it from this. Now let's see here. Now the description on the back. Let's see here. U.S. fleet. I'm trying to get a good U.S. submarine. Let's just do this. We can do this just by submarine. RPPC should give us what we want. Yeah, these are all interesting ones here. German, U.S. Hampshire submarine. Now, it's going to sell just because they're submarines, in all honesty. Submarines usually do sell, regardless of where they're at or anything like that. I've never had an issue trying to sell one with a submarine in it. Lot planes, aviation, marines. I'm hoping the image you have is a little better. You'll definitely want a much better image for that. Yeah, I don't see anything quite like yours. Let's go over to the ones that just sold because, well, it doesn't matter. There's only 60 of them. Yeah, I don't see much here. Let's see here. And we're going to take off RPPC in just a second here, too. Let's just do this and see. Nope, nothing New York. And we got quite a few for regular submarines. I mean, this one's photo album. That's a whole album. Torpedo fleet. I wish we could see some of these, but you can't. Let me see here. Real photo. German submarine in Michigan. Let's see here. Raised by airboys. Just gonna flip through here. Yeah, there's not much on here for pricing wise. I would price yours high because you got some information on the back. Now the type on this is just a style of it. It means nothing really spectacular on it. There's Holland type, Lake type. There's a bunch of different types of submarines. Now you've got a good enough amount of information on here that I would probably price yours high and then see what happens from there. Maybe say 125 on your postcard to start off with. Just judging it by what some of the higher priced ones here on Terapeak. Now, obviously, that's a whole album. Yours is right up there with Scarcity, I would say, as the scarcest one on this list. So I would price it at 125 as a bin with a BO and go from there. You've got context and information on the back, which adds to it. And even looking on here, I know it's a different type of submarine in the whole works, but the prices are all over the place. Now, when you see one like this go for 60, 75, they might have put 125 and it might have sold too. Same with here. Somebody took an offer. That one doesn't count. That one doesn't count in my book. This one doesn't really show much. I mean, they're bins and buy it now. So if they would have put higher on it, they may have sold them higher. So don't undersell yourself. I would put up for 125, listed in the real photo, real picture postcard section, or I'm sorry, the military section, and then put Lake type submarine RPPC in the title, circa 1910-ish maybe World War I. You might put WW1 in the title as well too. But 125 bin BO is what I would put. I would put yours right at the top of the line. I would have been happy to find this one. Yeah, see in Holland type. I didn't realize that was down there. Holland and Lake type are just versions of them, versions of submarines. It doesn't really matter a whole bunch. I don't see any big difference between the types that are sought after, because most submarine photos do sell. Real picture postcards, that is. If you have any more photos or anything like that, and this is helpful to you, please just let me know, and I can throw another one of these types of videos together in another week or two, just so we can kind of keep it fresh for everybody and what could be helpful to them. So hopefully that helped you with this, and that's what I have. Well, there you go. Hopefully that gave you some ideas on this. we'll do this again because I think it'll be helpful. A lot of comments and questions on it as well. A lot of people posted. Next time we'll just open it up to whatever you guys got, and I'll just show you my thinking on vintage items. Sticking to vintage though, because that's my areas. I'm not going to be able to comment on clothing or things like that. Books maybe, but that's a totally different aspect of it. So anyway, thanks to everybody for the support. If you need anything, as always, comments, questions, pop them below. We're running to the last of the season where my pickers are going to be gone, so I'm going to have some more free time in the next, say, 2 or 3 weeks. It's getting really cold around here. We had some ice for the first time. So I'll have more time, and I'll be checking everything a lot more often in the winter because I'm not driving all over the place. With pickers, I'm stuck having to still go pick and check it out when they get stuff. Otherwise, I'm just not going to get called when they do get some good stuff. So I can't let that go. So anyway, just let me know what you guys need, and I appreciate it.